Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we are going to be diving into another tier list video. This one is going to be about my opinion on solo queue tier list. Now, to be completely honest, when I make my tier list, I kind of do like this weird mix where I like kind of think about solo queue, but I also kind of think about more constructed play and like the literal meta. And I don't know, I guess that maybe isn't great, but that's just kind of how I've always done it. But this one is going to be specifically solo queue, because I definitely think if you specifically think about solo queue, it definitely changes things. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Y'all know I like to do my own little tier list template here. And yeah, I've got all my Pokemon here, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Alolan Ninetales. I think Alolan Ninetales is really strong already. I think that I would probably put Alolan Ninetales in A tier for, you know, the game anyways. This Pokemon just has a ton of CC, does a great amount of damage, has a great Unite move. You know, I don't know what to say. Damage reduction with the Aurora Veil, a stun, slows, I mean, you know, freezes. It's like all the craziest things. So definitely a great pick. Talonflame. Honestly, I'm gonna say Talonflame is like B tier solo queue, which, you know, you could get some steals with Talonflame, Brave Butterfly for sure. You can definitely pop off, and if you get ahead, Talonflame's pretty strong, but it's not the best pick. You can only really play him in jungle. You're probably not gonna play a ton of Talonflame in solo queue. Maybe, I mean, if you really enjoy the character, you definitely could. But yeah. You know, that's some Talonflame things. Slowbro. I think I'm gonna put Slowbro C tier for solo queue. I think if you're going to play a tank, or if you're, you know, if you're kind of in a supporty role, Slowbro's really not the one you're gonna want to pick. Not because he's bad, just, you know, he's not so overwhelming or so great that you're gonna want to pick Slowbro for solo queue. Wouldn't be my go-to pick. I just think he's good, has a lot of CC, but you're not really gonna make a lot of big plays. Although you could kind of catch out like really high priority targets. So maybe Slowbro could be like a B tier, but I don't know. It would just require follow-up, and that doesn't really give you a ton of potential, really. I don't know. In terms of trying to carry. Mime is like really interesting. I've talked about this character a lot lately. I think that Mime is really good. It's just so particular and so niche. Like, you're not really a support, you're kind of tanky, you kind of do damage. So with, like, you could have a good performance on Mime, but it's like, what are you filling? What spot are you filling? So I think in terms of solo queue, you can honestly have a great lane, you can do a lot of damage, you can be disruptive, but if you're taking over the support slot, it's like not the best. Maybe if you had like another support with Mime, that would be okay, but in terms of carrying solo queue, I just don't really see it. I just don't really see it. Lucario, S tier ability to carry. This character is insane in lane. You can also jungle this character if you really want to get ahead in experience. Not the best jungle pick in my opinion, because he's just so good in lane. But with Powered Up Punch, you have crazy burst potential. This character has insane mobility. You run a score shield on this character, and you're just dunking all the time, getting free experience, getting ahead. You know, you have the Powered Up Punch to secure objectives like Dreadnought, Rotom, and Zapdos. This character's honestly probably the best character in the game to solo carry with. Really strong. Greninja, same deal. In terms of the jungle meta, this character just gets so far ahead. In terms of the jungle meta with Greninja versus Cinderace specifically, this character just has more outplay potential. Cinderace is just like that squishy backliner that is always in the backline, always attacking, needs some help from the team. Greninja is much more self-sufficient. Oh, this light is acting up. Greninja is much more self-sufficient and just does a high burst, has good steal potential. Yeah, really good stuff there. Gengar. I'm going to put Gengar in the same spot as Talonflame. It's like this character can pop off, can get ahead, can really be a menace and someone that's frustrating to deal with. But it's like not the best in its spot. You know, if you're taking this, you end up questioning like, well, why didn't I just play something else? In terms of solo carrying, Gengar can get really far ahead, but is he going to solo carry a game? Not really. And even if he did, even if you were to solo carry with Gengar, in terms of solo queuing, I think that you could just pick somebody else, like Greninja, you know, because that would be crazy solo queue, you know, potential. Gardevoir. Gardevoir is actually really good at soloing. You know, I feel like the only problem with Gardevoir is that it definitely takes her a while to get there, but if your team isn't just disgustingly feeding and y'all are doing okay, then when you get to the late game, if your laning abilities with Gardevoir she's insane. She's very, very strong. I definitely think that there's it's hard because a part of me feels like it just requires so much collaboration to get her there, and maybe that makes her not good for solo carrying. But when you get there, it's like the solo carry potential skyrockets through the roof. And I definitely think that yeah, I definitely think that there's something there for sure. Garchomp. You're gonna see a lot of the B tier on this list, most likely, where it feels like definitely a strong character. Honestly, Garchomp really can carry, probably better than the two speedsters in this list. Realistically, I mean, or at least better than Gengar, because Talonflame has steel potential. Gengar has like a lot of burst potential, but you have to kind of get him super strong. And Garchomp has a little bit of both, like really, really great team fight at level 10 plus, really, really great objective play, but you know, you don't have like that big execute. So while you can burn objectives, a lot of the time with Garchomp, I feel like I can't necessarily secure it on my own. And you know, I can make big plays with this character, but you really have to play him in jungle or get babied in lane, which is not great. And then again, same deal, like why not just play Greninja? Not a terrible option, honestly. Really, really not a terrible option, but not the best for solo queue, I think. Not the best for solo queue. Eldegoss. I think in terms of solo queuing, Eldegoss is kind of going to sit in a C tier, a B tier. I mean, this character is just super supporty, right? Like, you either have a heal or Leaf Tornado, where you can increase move speed. You can definitely make plays with this character because you're healing and saving people. You know, I think B tier is like more appropriate because it's I don't view Eldegoss as the best support in the game, but like if you're supporting at all, other than mine, you're probably bringing a decent value to the team because other people just don't want to do it. And yeah, it's really, really good to have a support, a healer, someone that can shield, someone that has a good Unite move. Crustle. This character is not bad, but like trying to find your place in the meta with this character, it's really weird. Now, I guess I should go on and say, if you're playing Crustle and Slowbro, at least you're bringing a tank to the team. But, you know, when it comes to tanking, I don't think that much carry potential with Crustle. Over how much you could get done with Snorlax, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Cramorant, you can honestly pop off with this character in early game, but I definitely think that your team has to kind of play around you and peel for you with this character, and you know, you need that with Ninetales and Gardevoir as well, but he doesn't feel like he's got as much solo carry potential to me. At least I don't think he does. I don't know, if you're just a really, really insane Cramorant, honestly, he may fit into the A tier for attackers as well. But I don't know, it feels like Cramorant definitely is just like, it's harder to carry with. I don't know, he feels very not self-sufficient, where even with Gardevoir, whenever I have like Moonblast and I'm just doing a ton of damage, I feel good. But Cramorant just feels like he's very easy to dive the backline on, and you're gonna need some help. And Ninetales and Gardevoir, I honestly feel like have a little bit more for themselves, kind of. At least with Gardevoir, she has a stun, and then Ninetales is just a CC monster who can run away. So, Cramorant, really, really strong. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely do some great things, but not quite as much carry potential. Cinderace in the current meta, at least in terms of solo queue, is a great jungle pick, phenomenal. Definitely going to put him toward A tier because I think you can still hop in the jungle and get really, really fed and have like a really positive and solid impact on the game. You know, with the Blazing Bicycle Kick, you got some pretty good steal potential, which is really, really nice, especially at long range. So really, really solid pick for trying to climb and carry solo queue a little bit. Absol, listen. You know, I don't even know if I even put this anywhere outside of D tier. The thing is this Pokemon falls off a cliff. So if you're in low ranks, honestly, probably under veteran, you can probably carry the majority of your games with this. But I'm trying to think, I guess, across the entirety of the ranked system. So Absol, you know, probably going to stay in D tier here and just kind of hang out, because while I do think in solo queue you can hard carry with this character, it always has a means to an end no matter what rank you're at. So I just don't think it's super great. Charizard. Carrying as Charizard is interesting. I think in terms of the all-rounders, carrying with Charizard is actually not as hard as you would think. It's really crazy what he can do with his Wait, what did I do? It's really crazy what Charizard can do with his Unite move, diving the backline, finding high priority kill targets in a big fight. That alone can win you the game sometimes. Like if there's a Gardevoir, a Zera Aura, a Cinderace, a Greninja, Ninetales, any of these characters on the enemy team, and you Unite move them and you just chase them down and you burn them off the face of the earth, that's just a person they just don't have. Giant target that's off the field because of you. Pikachu, not much carry potential. You know, you can do really well in the early game, but that's about it, really. I just don't really see much carry potential for Pikachu at all. It's, you know, falls off a cliff, not great. And yeah, I don't know why my Venusaur is a Bulbasaur picture. I guess I just never updated it. But we have Venusaur. Venusaur is really strong carry potential. You know, Solar Beam is one of the best steals and executes in the game. If you can get good at Solar Beam, you can get good at solo carrying your games. It's as simple as that. Venusaur is great. Like, honestly great right now. Really, really crazy. Zera Aura. I'm not gonna lie. Zera Aura is not an S-tier jungle pick, but Zera Aura is an insane solo queue pick. So, you know, it's not Greninja level, because Greninja is just, like, solo queue wise the best jungler, like, hands down. But Zera Aura is like a close second when it comes to solo carrying out of jungle. This character blows everything up. Insane blows everything up. Wigglytuff, holy hell. Wigglytuff is insanely strong in the meta in general, but in terms of solo queue, the impact you can have just by having like a good sleep, running in and just CCing multiple targets and then just hoping your team follows up, or you following up with your own damage, really, really scary. I think that this character has insane carry potential. If you want to play a support, you definitely bring a support to the team. She's basically a tank, at least in that degree. I think Wigglytuff filling multiple roles, bringing tons of CC and bringing damage to the table is like, come on now, kind of insane. Snorlax. Here's the thing. It's hard to carry a Snorlax, per se. Like, you're not going to just solo carry your games and get all the kills and do all that. But that's not necessarily what I think we're looking for here. It's like, what characters are strong in solo queue? And Snorlax is literally always strong. If you're playing Heavy Slam and Block, you just have so much CC, so much engage. You have crazy, Block is crazy. Like, that's just the point. Block is just genuinely ridiculously crazy, and you're going to be doing just so much for your team as long as you can get some of those abilities in that position. Machamp probably honestly is A tier carry. The thing about Machamp, I don't know. I think Charizard, you're kind of forced to be in jungle, and Machamp, like, you can lane Charizard, but it's not great, obviously. But I feel like laning Machamp is just incredibly hard, and then you're kind of forced to jungle. So I'm probably going to put Machamp in B tier for carrying. As crazy as that is, I actually think that Machamp is better than Charizard and Garchomp, but I think in terms of solo carrying, it's just a little bit harder, maybe. I don't know. This is a really weird one for me. I really think he's probably A tier. He's probably A tier with the rest of them. Like, in terms of solo queue, you can actually pop off out of the jungle really early, get an insane gank. In the end game, you have this crazy ultimate. His ultimate is really nuts, especially if you catch like multiple people in it. I mean, that alone can win you a fight. You have on the buddy barrier, you're hard to kill. Like, you're just running at people's faces and CCing them in the middle of the fight. Like, you can have some pretty crazy impact with Machamp. That said, same thing when it comes to like the jungle meta. You're not going to really overtake the solo carry potential of, say, a Greninja, but pretty insanely strong. Blissey, I think, is a slightly better support than Goss right now, but it's the same thing. You're not really going to be able to solo carry. You can bring a lot to the team, so it's definitely great to play in solo queue. And honestly, maybe I should have the supports in A tier just for saying like this is good to have, but I think in terms of actually like this is just the best. This is the best thing to play in solo queue. Like, playing supports, it's great. It's great to play in solo queue, but you can't really control the outcome. You know, you can't really control the outcome of what's going to happen. So it's great to play in solo queue. It's really, really good to have on the team, but you're not really going to carry with it. You're not going to have as crazy impact as some of these other characters. I feel like the more I look at this list, the more controversial that Charizard pick's going to be. But I think that Charizard's super sleeper. I think that he's crazy, kind of counters the meta. I don't know why I'm talking about Charizard. All right, and then last but not least, I put Blastoise on this list. Honestly, I kind of expect Blastoise to make waves in this upcoming meta. I really do. I think that Blastoise is going to end up being an A tier pick. He brings some pretty crazy CC to the table. That Surf is ridiculous. The Unite move looks pretty awesome, and I'm just hypothesizing with the end of this one. So I wanted to throw him toward the end and take a look at it. So yeah, this is the solo queue list that I'm looking at here. You know, I definitely think there's a little bit of room to move some things around, as always. It's just a pretty subjective way of looking at things. I don't know. I'm looking at the tanks on the bottom that have it C tier. I'm just looking at a little bit of everything. Like, I think that, you know, when it comes to this game, you have so many picks that are good. They just have to be forced into jungle. And then supports, you know, like I said, you're bringing great impact to the game. They should probably be A tier. But I think I'm also kind of looking at it like, just like what's best to play, especially if you're trying to like carry. It's like solo queue carry tier list. Like, the top 4 picks is like so crazy. Like, the S tier list is so crazy. And then everything in A tier is just like really, really good for solo queue specifically, because you can just have so much impact with some of those picks. It's so weird. This tier list looks so weird to me because, you know, without the proper given context, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's super, super janky. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I love doing tier list videos. It's always so interesting and subjective and weird. I mean, even like I said, even looking at this, it's just so bizarre. But solo carry potential, man, like just trying to do your best in solo queue. These are some of the picks that, like, if you stuck to the S and A tier, you would probably be really solid. And even then, you know, realistically, I could probably knock Charizard, Zera Aura, Machamp down, and like the S and the A tier would be dumb solid for picking. But these characters also are really good in solo queue, especially across the different ranks too. Like, I have no doubt in my mind I can have some crazy impact on Zera Aura, Machamp, Charizard, Venusaur, even though these aren't some of the best picks in the game in terms of like the highest level play or like coordinated team play. Really, really crazy picks in solo queue. So like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I definitely do appreciate it. Thank you for spending your time with me here on the channel. If you're new, like and subscribe. I would also love to have you around. Be sure to be kind to one another, tell someone that you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.